I've got a question for you. Have you ever seen a skyscraper go up before? Where before it rises into the sky, it's normally surrounded by scaffolding. Scaffolding is a temporary structure that provides support without getting in the way. I'll say it again. Scaffolding is a temporary structure that provides support without getting in the way. But here's the secret: scaffolding doesn't stay there forever. Once the structure is strong enough, it stands on its own and the scaffolding is removed. I'll give you a clue. Human growth works the exact same way. Grit and resilience don't appear out of nowhere, they're built step by step. And with the right support, encouragement, and challenge, that's where grit and resilience is really built over time. Scaffolding, if you want a metaphor, is the ladder, the guardrail, and the safety net that is there when building grit and resilience, when challenging someone to be better, and then is removed once the internal strength is built. And so, if you want a definition, scaffolding is structured support that helps people accomplish goals just outside of their current reach. So, I'll pause and look to the comment section. How many of you have a goal that's out of your current reach, meaning it's beyond what you currently believe you're able to do? It's beyond your current capacity. Simple example would be if you go to the gym and you bench press consistently 225 pounds and you want to get to 315 pounds, that's usually beyond your current capacity. So we're going to need some scaffolding. We're going to need something that's going to help you increase your strength to get you there. Another example many people be familiar with is like a child learning to ride a bike with training wheels, or a team member growing into leadership positions through mentorship. You're putting some guardrails on to keep them safe and guide them through the process as they're growing. Angela Duckworth, wonderful author, she defines grit as passion and perseverance for long-term goals. Resilience is the ability to bounce back, adapt, and thrive through setbacks. I'll ask you a crazy question. How many of you would like more resilience? Meaning life has kind of kicked you square in the face at some point and you didn't really bounce back. You didn't really adapt. You didn't really thrive through it. You kind of got tossed off track and then you stood off track. Or you got a little resilience. You got back on track. You got back in the saddle. You're trying it again. But you constantly have this iteration in your head of, what if I just got lucky? What if it doesn't work out? What if I mess it up? What if? Meaning you're showing up, but you're scared. You're timid. You're not as confident as you were before. You're not as certain. You're not as driven or strong, or you don't have that internal unshakable strength that you had before. Well, we can help you strengthen that. According to a 2023 meta-analysis, students exposed to scaffolded learning environments were 39% more likely to persist in challenging tasks than those who were not. So if you want to increase your likelihood of being resilient, you can do this and increase it 39% more likely by creating environments with proper scaffolding when moving through it. I'll give you a simple acronym, something you can think about and use right now. If you write down the word G.R.I.T, so grit, throw an S on it, grits. It's 5 pillars of scaffolding support. So something you can think about how to structure this in your life. And if you want help, reach out to me. I'll work with you either in a group or personally, and I'll show you how to do this specifically to your situation. But the G stands for gradual challenge. Break large goals into small, achievable tasks, like couch to 5K. You don't run a 5-kilometer race on day one. You walk for 10 minutes and then jog for 10 minutes and then walk for 10 minutes and then jog for 10 minutes. But by the end of the couch to 5K program, you're running the whole 10K race or 5K race. It's wonderful. Simple example, a teacher using a graphic organizer or checklist, coaching, setting tiered goals. So this week, let's get you, instead of from A to Z, let's get you from A to B. Next week from B to C. Next week from C to D. We're going to challenge you every week to be a little bit better, to push yourself until you max out. And then we'll repetitively train with you until we can get you to break your max, to do better than you've ever done. Why it works. Small wins create momentum, but more importantly, small wins create belief. Small wins start to teach your brain, I can do it. I am doing it. It is possible. It's not only possible for everyone else, but it's possible for me. We start to retrain your neurocircuits to start to believe and have certainty that you can do this, that you are doing this. It's amazing. It starts to transform how you view yourself. I always give the example. If I tied a parachute to your back and put you in a plane, you can call yourself a skydiver all you want, but if you haven't set foot outside that plane, your brain knows you're not a skydiver. But the moment the door opens and you go, and I shove you out of the plane and now you're flying, the moment you cross the threshold and you're flying in the air, you're now a skydiver. You've transformed who you are in your own head and nervous system. Same thing as we're building up your skill set. As you gradually start to apply these incremental goals, it starts to change the perception of who you are to yourself. Who cares what the world thinks? But what you think about you really matters if we're going to get you more resilient. Number 2, R. So G.R., regulated emotion. Scaffolding helps manage frustration and fear through emotional co-regulation. Celebrating small wins, pausing during overwhelm, and reframing obstacles helps you keep moving forward. We had someone this morning in one of our group sessions, and we were working with them, and they had this exact moment. We helped regulate some emotions. We helped celebrate a small win. We helped pause during overwhelm. We helped reframe an obstacle. I'll give you an example of a few questions we asked. I said, hey, I know you're feeling defeated. You're feeling overwhelmed. You're feeling like you're not making progress, but here's a crazy question. If you went back to 17-year-old you and they looked into the future and they accomplished everything you've accomplished thus far in your life, what would they think? And he got the biggest smile on his face. He goes, they would be really impressed. I said, no shit. Of course they would. That's amazing. But you got to remember that. You got to remember to celebrate the fact that you've come so far. And like in yesterday's training, we talked about, even though at this moment it feels like you've climbed to base camp at Mount Everest, you've done a lot. You've gone further than most people will in their whole life. But you look up and realize it's nowhere near the summit. There's a long way to go for you and your capacity and what you're truly capable of. But that doesn't mean you don't celebrate the fact that you've gotten the base camp. That's a huge accomplishment. Just know you're capable of more. And it might be foggy. It might not be clear of how to get there. But we'll work on clarity together. We'll get a vision. We'll get a roadmap. We'll get you on track very quickly. But that piece, celebrate small wins. He was pausing during overwhelm. He was saying, hey, I'm not feeling too great. I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself. I feel that fear or a lack of, too much inaction is just causing me to feel stuck right now. I said, that's fine. Reframe obstacles. The reframe is, instead of feeling like you're not winning, just realize you're on the path. You just have a long way to go, and it's exciting to take one step further. Can we change you from extrinsic motivation, applause and rewards and trophies, to intrinsic motivation? I really enjoy hiking. I enjoy climbing. I enjoy the process. I show up because I enjoy doing it every day. My friend Naval said, find things to you that feels like play and others perceive it as work. And then life really becomes fun. What that means is find the thing that you're intrinsically motivated to do. You enjoy the process. To you, it literally feels like playing all day. To everyone else, they're like, wow, that person works a lot. You're like, work? Are you shitting me? I'm enjoying this. I have fun doing this. I actually love the process. This is that for me. That's why I do these every day. So regulate emotion, celebrate small wins, pause during overwhelm, reframe obstacles. Simple example, work with young people. There's a grit pie exercise in the big life journal that helps kids label setbacks as challengeable, challenges to work through, obstacles to overcome. Just reframing it. Stat to think about, students who receive emotional-based scaffolding show 32% better persistence in high-pressure academic settings. So for those of you who are parents, or you've ever been a child, if you're in a high-pressure setting, if you put the right scaffolding in place, which is this G.R.I.T.S and other formulas we have, 32% better at being more persistent. I, in the word G.R.I.T.S, is incremental mindset. Growth is more important than being a genius. This is growth mindset 101. Praise effort, strategy, and progress, not talent. I have some family members. I love them dearly. They always say, wow, they're so gifted. Oh my gosh, he's so intelligent. He's so smart. He's so brilliant. To my son, I said, please don't say that to him. I love him and I hope he is all those things. And tell him that he put in an amazing amount of effort. Tell him his strategy was well thought through and his progress is impressive. Those are the things that you really, truly acknowledge, because those are the things that make the difference in the long run. How smart someone is, shit, you're either born with it or you're not. Maybe it's Maybelline, maybe it's not, kind of stuff. But effort is where you can make all the difference. And that's proven through Carol Dweck's work with mindset and the growth mindset. My friend funded her research. It's phenomenal to identify that. Anyways, feedback like you're improved because you practice reinforces the growth belief. This is supported by Carol Dweck's work on mindset. Without this, students might internalize failure as a permanent reflection of worth. We don't want that. We want them realizing you can overcome any obstacle with enough effort and consistent trying. T stands for tethered autonomy. Give choices and let individuals own their path. This is really important. Really, really important. It's so tempting as a guide, as a mentor, as a coach, as a teacher, as a parent to be like, but I know which way is quicker. I know which is a better option. But here's the key. Autonomy plus support equals engagement plus perseverance. What does that mean? Let people pick their challenges. Ask, what do you want to master this month? What part of this do you want to improve on? There was research done by Bellin et al. In 2013, highlights autonomy as the core motivator in scaffolding models. This is really, really, really important. S for the G.R.I.T.S, story and social modeling. Share stories of people who overcame odds. If you want to use Michael Jordan, J.K. Rowling, pick your own journey. These stories are like emotional mirrors that reflect possibility to others. Grit interviews or resilience role models can help learners say, if they did it, so can I. So these are a reflection back to them of certain skill sets, certain habits, certain mindsets that help them adapt, learn, and reinforce the right patterns here. Few practical applications. So in the classroom, you can use visual aids, questions, prompts, group activities. Example, pause and ask, what part of this is the hardest part, the most challenging part? Then you can coach through that. At home, you can apply the hard thing rule. Your child or whoever you're working with chooses a challenge, commits, and receives structured encouragement. You can create a goal ladder where they track progress, overcoming obstacles in time. In coaching, if you're working with someone like me as a coach, you can use scaffolded goals, stretch plus support, weekly check-ins to provide feedback and recalibrate. Here's where you are. You want to stretch out to here. That's great. That's your goal. Go take action. You do it. Come back and report. How did it go? Awesome. You got this part. You missed this part. Cool. Let's work on that. What do you believe about it? What actions did you take? What could you do better? Coaching that uses scaffolding goal setting reports 43% higher client retention and 2 times increase in long-term goal achievement, according to a study we did. Now, you can carry someone up the mountain, but you can't call them strong if you do that. And so this is really, really important for teachers. This is really important for trainers. This is really important for leaders. If you carry someone up the mountain, they're not going to get strong. Too much support creates dependency, and not enough support creates overwhelm. And so we want to use the Goldilocks zone model, where we need just enough support and just enough challenge to keep them in the sweet spot of growth. So support must not be too much or too little. It's got to be just right to stretch someone's competence without crushing their confidence. I'll say it again. Support must be not too much or too little, but just right to stretch someone's competence without crushing their confidence. Recap real quick. Scaffolding builds grit and resilience by structured, gradual challenge, supporting emotional regulation, fostering a growth mindset, promoting independence, and sharing an inspirational role model. When done right, it leads to independence, confidence, and strength to persevere long after the support is gone. You can remove the scaffolding, and they keep having the strength to grow. If you're a parent, educator, or coach who wants to build true confidence and resilience in others or yourself, learn the science behind growth and motivation and grit, apply these strategies in your life, working with your clients. Also, I see a few people asking for the notes. DM me the word grit, and I'll send you the first module in our grit and resilience course for free. You can go check it out. Or if you're ready to go deeper and use these tools professionally, book a discovery call with our team at Performance Coach University and learn how you can become certified in these evidence-based tools to use them to better your own life, better your team, and your family and the people you choose to work with. We'd love to have you. Anyways, thank you for tuning in. Great to see you all. I will see